Make sure you. All right. Let's start in child's pose today. Choose whichever one you like. You can keep your knees together. You can separate your knees. Big toes touch. Sink your hips back and bow forward. As you come into your child's pose, just start to find the connection to your breath. Get nice and grounded this morning or this afternoon. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. Gently start to take a couple of breaths on your own. Help deepen your connection. Gently rock your forehead from side to side. Just to begin to release any tension you may be holding in your neck or your face. And lightly waking up your third eye. On your next inhale, press up onto your forearms. Bring your knees hip-width distance apart. Come into your tiny tabletop. We're just going to hold here for a few breaths, just to create a little bit of space in your shoulders. On your next inhale, press up onto all fours. Come into your tabletop. So your knees are in line with your hips, hands are underneath your shoulders. We're just going to start to create some subtle movements. So on your exhale, bring your shoulder blades close together. As you inhale, you're going to separate them. You can do this to your own breath. It's very subtle lowering of the upper body. And then separate your shoulders. Come back to a neutral spine. We're going to work our way down the spine by beginning your cat and cow. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone, bring your gaze between your legs. Come back to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes if they're not already tucked. Lift your tailbone up towards the sky. Come into downward facing dog. And just gently begin to pedal out your feet. Wiggle your hips. Start to wake up your lower body. Shift your weight forward, come back into tabletop. And then sit back on your heels. Come into hero's pose. And create some nice movement in your neck. Just begin to roll it from back to side, front to side. And switch direction. Bring your gaze back to center. Now, as you inhale, you're going to look up towards the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to look down at your lap. So just do a few rounds. Today we're focusing on gaining back some control by focusing on the breath. Do one more round. And bring your gaze back to center. Go ahead and plant your hands down, come back into tabletop, tuck your toes, come into downward facing dog. Jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, come into mountain pose. Bring your arms up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers above your head. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, lower towards the left of your mat to create a nice side stretch on the right. Inhale back up to center. Exhale, lower towards the right. And now we're going to work with this motion for a bit. So inhale back up to center. Exhale, you'll lower towards the left. You'll inhale back up to center and then lower towards the right. Again, just do this to your own breath. Take your time. We're working into those little nooks and crannies in your ribs. The little forgotten spaces or hard to reach areas. The next time you inhale up into center, release your bind, come into your mountain. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Inhale your arms back up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then step back into your high plank or your push-up position. Lower both knees, untuck your toes, come into cobra. Tuck your toes, shift your weight all the way back, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, step it all the way through to the top of your mat. Create your foundation first, and then rise for warrior one. You got a deep bend in your right knee. If you look down and you can't see your toes, take a wider step. Interlace your fingers to your lower back so that your elbows go nice and wide. On your exhale, bow forward. Come into humble warrior. Inhale back up. Release your bind, bring your arms up towards the sky. Bring your right arm out in front of you. Left arm is going to come behind for a twist in your warrior. Inhale back to center, warrior one. Exhale, bring your hands down to your mat. Step back into a high plank. Lower both knees, untuck your toes, cobra. Tuck your toes, shift your weight back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, step it all the way through. Again, take your time, create your foundation, and then rise for warrior one. Interlace your fingers to your lower back. Your elbows go nice and wide. On your next exhale, bow forward. Come into humble warrior. Inhale back up to center. Release your bind, come back into warrior one. And then bring your left arm out in front of you. Right arm comes behind, come into a twist. Inhale back to center, warrior one. Exhale, bring your hands down to your mat, step back into a high plank. Lower both knees, untuck your toes, cobra. Tuck your toes, shift your weight back, downward facing dog. Jump or step to the top of your mat. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, mountain pose. Exhale your hands down to your sides. Now you can keep facing this way on your mat. I'm going to face you because I have a wall right here. Just want you to start wiggling into your feet. Maybe pedal them out a little bit. And then begin to shift your weight from front to back, coming up onto the balls of your feet. And then down. Balls of your feet and then down. I always say do whatever you want with your arms. They can swing with you. You can give yourself a hug. Entirely up to you. The next time you come up onto the balls of your feet, hold your heels up in the air. And then lower them down. Now gently bend your knees. And begin to rock back and forth. This doesn't have to be an extreme rocking back and forth. It can just be a little bit of movement. Keeping your knees bent. See if you can balance on the balls of your feet. And lower down. Shift all of your weight into your left leg. Hug your right knee into your chest. Start to find your drishti point or your point of focus. If it's within your practice, you can start to slowly open your hip. Beautiful. Inhale your knee back to center. As you slowly lower your leg, I want you to bring your right foot to a hover. So it's not going to touch your mat. We're using lots of control. That's okay if you wobble. It's okay if you shake. Again, connect to your breath. And release your right foot all the way down. Shake it out. And we'll switch sides. Ground down into your right leg. And then hug your left knee into your chest. Whenever you're ready, you can open your hip. You may not want to on both sides. One side might be like, no, thank you. And that's okay. Just listen to your body if it's telling you, no, thank you. Slowly bring your knee back to center. And as you lower it down, bring it to a hover. It may feel completely different on this side, and that's okay. If you fall out and your foot touches, that's all right. Just take an inhale, take a second, and then bring it back to a hover. Come right back into it. Go ahead and release your left foot. Shake it out. Ground down into your left leg. Create a nice sturdy trunk. Spread your toes nice and wide. Create your roots. Bring your right foot to your ankle, calf, or thigh. Come into your tree pose. And start your arms wherever you like. You can start them low at heart center. Whenever you're ready, grow your branches. I always like to use tree pose as a checkpoint posture, as a way to reconnect to your breath if you've lost it, or if you've lost your intention for today's practice, bringing that back into focus. So just take this time to do a little body check, see how you're feeling. Slowly lower your branches, release your right leg. Again, shake it out if you need to. Yes. Other side, nice sturdy trunk of your right leg. Spread your toes nice and wide. Create your roots. Left foot comes to your ankle, calf, or thigh. Again, whenever you're ready, grow your branches. And slowly lower your branches, release your leg, shake it out. Come back to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Inhale your arms up towards the sky, come into your mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back, high plank. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Rest your right cheek on your mat. Have your arms come down to your sides. And then rest your left cheek. Bring your gaze back to center. Rest your chin on your mat. Bend both of your knees so that the bottoms of your feet are facing your head. Reach back and grab your feet. And we're just gonna hold here. If you like, you have the option to kick into bow. It's entirely up to you, but we're just gonna hold here. Go ahead and release your feet. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press all the way back into child's pose. We'll stay here for just a few breaths. And then slowly work your way back up into a seated position in your hero's pose. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Your left arm's going to come behind for a twist. Inhale back to center. Left hand to your right knee, right arm comes behind. And come back to center. Reach your arms far behind you. Lift your chest. And whenever you feel ready, you can allow your head to drape by your shoulder blades. Go as far as comfortable for you. And to come out of this pose, bring your hands to your lower back and slowly rise back to center. Swing your legs out in front of you. Extend them nice and long. You're going to be on your sit bones, so get your booty out of the way. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Inhale your arms up above your head to lengthen. Exhale, fold over your left leg. And allow your belly to be soft. Keep a slight bend in your left knee. Inhale back up to center. Release your right leg. And then bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale your arms up above your head. Exhale, fold over your right leg. Inhale back up to center. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Knees go nice and wide. You determine how scrunched up you want your heels to be. So play with your placement. Inhale your arms up above your head to always lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold over your lap. And inhale, press all the way up. Bring your knees together, lower all the way down to your back. Hug your knees into your chest. And just gently rock from side to side. Take your arms out nice and wide. And then lower your knees towards the left. Bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Bring your knees and your gaze back to center. On your next exhale, lower your knees towards the right. Bring your gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale back up to center. As you exhale, extend your legs the length of your mat. Bring both arms to your sides, palms face the sky. Allow your feet to fall open. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes and gently return to your natural breath. Allow your body to fall deeply on your mats. You settle in for Shavasana. Begin to bring awareness back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, and lightly rocking your head from side to side. Slowly hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then lower down to one side, come into your sleepy baby. Whichever hand landed on top, press up into a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. We will end our practice today the way we began, with the sound of breath. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And release. And bow your head. Thank you. We're all done.